Hey everybody, last Friday I was dealing with a really painful bug in Unity that was only reproing on iPads. So it was a bug like this where my UI was just messed up, but it looked fine in the editor. And instantly when I ran into this bug, I thought I need to open up Proxima and check it out and see what it's looking like and see if I can figure out what the problem is. Luckily, it worked great, and I thought afterwards I really need to share with everybody what the hell Proxima is so that when other people are stuck with issues like this where things are working fine in the editor and they're working fine on your device, but they don't work for other people, or they're not working on a specific platform and you can't really see all the data, how you can kind of use Proxima to do all of that. And you can actually do it for free too. So I thought, let's bring on Alon, who built Proxima. It's an amazing tool. It allows you to essentially use a web browser as a runtime inspector. So you can see all of the stuff that you would see in your normal editor view, but with a device. And you can go in and just like this, go grab objects and turn them all on, turn them off. Oh, I've got to grab the right window here. And turn things on, turn them off, flip my objects around, do whatever I want, change text, and all of the normal things you could do at edit time in an editor, but do them at runtime. There's a remote capability and a bunch of other cool stuff. But anyway, I think it's time for me to introduce you, Alon. Hey, Alon, thanks for coming on, and thanks for building this tool that has made Unity development quite a bit easier, at least for me and hopefully for everybody watching.
No, thank you, Jason. It's great to be on. Thank you for the show of support. Proxima started as kind of, I used to work at Microsoft on the HoloLens classes, and we had this internal tool that we would use to debug the device by connecting to it through a web browser where you could see like performance analytics and all these other things. And I thought after leaving Microsoft, I'm still doing a bunch of VR development, and I'm missing this kind of tool. And I thought it could be even cooler if I could get in and a deep dive to all the different properties in my Unity app. And so I built this thing, Proxima, and it's supposed to be a mimic of some of the really important features that you'd use in the Unity editor in a web browser, and it allows you to connect to any device to debug it. And just even today, I find it really useful. We are working right now on a VR multiplayer app, and we hit this nasty bug recently where you are an avatar, you're walking around in VR, and in one of the worlds you would walk into, you would be invisible. And we could not figure out why. And so I launched Proxima, connected to it, and I was able to go through all the game objects, turn them off one by one, until finally we figured out, oh, one of these lights is somehow causing your avatar to disappear.
Oh, that's funny. I actually did something really similar with an invisible object, and it ended up being a layer. And I never would have guessed. I could have gone in there and spent hours just adding debug code, but I just clicked through. I was like, oh, yeah, that layer number is totally different than everything else. It's wrong. So.
Yeah, you run into these things a lot where it's only on device, only on the platform. So I think anybody that's kind of further along in the project could really benefit from this kind of tool.
Yeah, it especially seems the case if you have more than one platform and you're not just targeting like standalone windows. I feel like I almost never run into weird things that are different from the editor and standalone windows, but every time with web or Android or iOS or, like you said, VR devices especially, you run into all kinds of crazy stuff. And like I said, Proxima basically lets you see the game as the inspector, and there are a couple really core things to it. There's the scene view, the inspector view that lets you see everything that's loaded view, and in the pro version modify all that stuff. There's the logs, and then there's the console as well. Which part do you think is the most useful? What part do you see yourself using the most personally? And you want to kind of go through all three of those parts?
Yeah, so recently we're working on some new features that's making the logs a lot more useful. Right now they're useful as they are, but we are now working on automatically uploading these logs and being able to view them offline in a later session. And this has just like saved us so much time. Nobody has to go and pull their logs and send them to us anymore, and things like that. So the logs are very helpful because, with the display here in Proxima, it mimics what you'd see in the editor. You can see just the log line and then the call stack. You could download the logs from here. and you can search them and filter them by types and so on, which would not be something you could do if you would just, grab the log from the device or over ADB or whatever iOS provides you to view the logs. The console is kind of a more deeper debugging tool for things that you can't quite get at from the inspector. So notably, the thing we've done recently is we had a bug where the problem was in a private variable. You're not going to see that in the inspector. It's not a serialized field. But what you can do in the console is you can drill into any game object, any component, and see all the variables, all the private properties. And you can actually use that to see, we found, this Boolean is false when it's supposed to be true.
How do you do that? What's the command for it? That's one. See, I knew I would learn something new, or at least a couple things from this call.
Yeah. So if you do ls and then type in like a name of a game object, so and put stars around it so that you're kind of fuzzy matching. Yeah. So now you can see the IDs of all the game objects. If you do G is get, or you can type get. And then copy the ID of the game object in.
Got it. So just put in the one that I want, like 110450.
Yeah, I think you need to put the brackets around it.
Oh, okay. Well, luckily the up arrow works, so I can just get the history.
Yeah, so this right now you're just getting the game object. It's not going to give you anything there. But if you know what the component is called, so as an example here, we'll just use transform. So just do dot transform and then dot the name of the properties. We could, for example, position. I actually don't know if position is a property on.
Yeah. All right. So
and you can do fancy things here, like if you replace the game object with the same thing you had before, the star event star, it'll give you the position of all those game objects.
Oh, interesting. So I could do like get. And the stars here?
Yeah.
Just one star?
The same thing you had in your ls command.
Oh.
Yeah, so now it's printing the names. If you change name for position.
Yes, I did change. I changed it for name. Yes. Then I do. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that is cool. I did not know this. And then to access a private property, I just need to know the name of that field.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm thinking right now about enhancing this, not the console specifically, but adding another thing here so that you can inspect them in a more visual way. So, it would list for this game object, here's all the components and here's all the private properties. The thing people have asked for is statics. So can we view all the static objects in the game and see all of their properties so you could see, what are your graphic settings, for example.
That is one of the handiest tools in Odin Inspector, so I think it would definitely be great in here, being able to actually see that on the builds. Wow, yeah. This is really cool. This is even cooler than I knew. Anything else in the console that I should know about?
I mean, you can right now you're just getting. You can set things, destroy things, instantiate resources. You can change transforms using move and look at and things like that.
But now, wait, what does look at do? Is it just I give it a transform and it will look at a different one?
I think it will. Yes.
Okay. Interesting. Very cool. So then the inspector, that's where the majority of the stuff is, right?
Yeah, the inspector is the kind of cool thing. The recent things we've added here are, I don't know if you have any in your scene, but you can now drill into materials and scriptable objects. And so if you had a mesh somewhere, you could find the material and start messing with its properties. That's something that wasn't available before because materials and scriptable objects are assets. And so they don't normally appear in the editor. But since there's no assets in a runtime build, we had to find a way to do it.
Okay, so I can drill down and expand out the material properties here.
Yep. And remember, this is a shared material, so if you're modifying one, you're modifying all of them.
So let me go find a rock. And let's see if I can turn one red. I just have to figure out where this rock is actually placed. Never mind. This is the floor. This is on the ground. So the grass here, see it. You can see the little grass blades there, and they're going to red and whatever color I'm on, right? Yeah, cycle through. Very cool. Yeah, I played with that. I didn't realize that was a new feature, though. I hadn't tried playing with materials before, but I actually was using that a little bit last week as well.
Yeah. And then I guess the most recent update was just the critical thing was fixing things for the new Unity 6000.1 beta that's going to come out, I think, this month. So it's making sure everything is working in that one.
Okay, there was one other really new cool thing too with the remote, right?
Yeah, so classically you can see here in your URL bar, you're connecting to a IP address, which is on your local network. So
and it's just showing up down there at the bottom.
Yeah. Your iPad is hosting a little web server, and you're connecting to that web server over your router. For a lot of people, this doesn't work because maybe there's a firewall in the way, and maybe it's in a business and they can't configure the firewall. The port is blocked. Maybe you're in a hotel room, you can't do anything. And so we added this remote access capability where instead of connecting directly to your device, you're connecting through a proxy that we're hosting in the cloud. And so now basically you just register your application with us, and all the devices within your organization get their own ID number, and you connect to them through this proxy. I can show you a quick new thing that we're adding to this. So if I go to the website now, we're adding this new page here where all those devices that are connected to the proxy, well, now since we're already connected to the cloud, we might as well just collect some information from those devices so you can go and debug them later. And so this is a early prototype of the logs page where it's auto-uploading the logs from every play session we do. And this is super useful when we're doing our build reviews, our play tests. And it uploads them here, and then I could say, okay, my username is virtualmaker. I can filter to my logs. Maybe I just want the ones from today. And I can see here I did a playtest today. I can download this log. And you can just view it in Notepad. But what's more cool is I can open it in Visual Studio Code. And we've made sure to format these logs. So this has a bit of extra information that Unity's logs don't normally have. So it has timestamps, for example. Because the things are indented like this, I can collapse the logs. So it makes it much easier to view. Collapse and uncollapse. And then if you are not a text editor kind of guy, you can go to app.unityproxima.com, go to the logs page, and you can load a log here. So this one I just downloaded, and you can see it as if it was in Proxima.
Okay, which looks just like if it was in Unity.
Right.
Nice.
And this page here, what I want to do, this is still future thinking, is, there would be a button here that's immediately, click to open in Proxima. It would take you to that page, load the log for you, to make this kind of a really seamless debug tool. And we're thinking about all sorts of enhancements we can do here. What kind of data can we now take from the game? We understand the hierarchy. We understand all the components, all the game objects. What kind of data can we pull out?
Yeah, a dump of that scene view would be great. It's almost like having a stack dump of the whole system, and get back into the state, even if it was just the scene view and you could kind of recreate a read-only view of it in the inspector, something that you could see. Yeah, that could be really, really handy. And then with these logs, is there a way can we just control when they send and when they don't? So that way, if we want to do a play session, everybody can hit the button to turn on the logs and we don't end up spamming them.
Yeah, so right now when you instantiate Proxima here, I'll show you when I play this little prototype game, you're going to see that there's a little bit of a UI here that shows up by default. So we're thinking there could be a cool button here that says File Bug Report. and then you click it. It grabs the logs, it grabs the state of the scene, and it just uploads it to the server where you can view it later.
It sounds really cool. And it's a very cool tool already, even without that. So I'm excited to try that when it comes to. For everybody who hasn't tried Proxima, you want to tell them how to grab it, where to grab it, and any deals they can get?
Yeah, so if you haven't tried Proxima, you can get the free version. Just search for Unity Asset Store Proxima. So there's a free version and a paid version. The free version basically lets you view logs and the inspector hierarchy with all the game objects and components, but you can't edit anything. If you get the paid version, the difference is you can edit any component and you also get access to the console. The price is $79, but it's going to be on sale April 17th, I believe. And also, I have a code. Let's see if I can display it somewhere. If this is from when I went to GDC this year, we have this code. You can get 50% off if you enter this code when you check out for any virtual maker.
Yeah, I'm sure they don't stack, so just grab it now before the sale.
Yeah, this one expires May 1st, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, it's definitely worth grabbing. And the pro version, being able to edit stuff and move things around is really great. There was one other thing that I did on Friday too that I don't think you mentioned, is that you can even add components at runtime. So you can go in there, select the game object, and go to start adding components and see how it changes. Which is, again, if you're doing any kind of device builds, being able to save the time of having to make the change, build, push it out to the device, and then wait, your 15, 20-minute turnaround versus just go in and change it instantly. It's great. It's like using Hot Reload.
20 minutes. Your builds are so short.
Oh, yeah. I got relatively quick builds. Yeah, some can be quite a bit longer, but yeah, these ones are nice and fast. Anyway, yeah, thanks again. Anything else you wanted to mention about Proxima before we go?
I think we covered everything.
And any other virtual maker tools you want to just quickly plug and mention? Because you do have quite a few other cool things.
Yeah, you can check them all out at our website, virtualmaker.dev. We do have build automation, Proxima, of course, and then Flexalon, which is a really popular layout system, both in 3D and UI. And we use all three of these in all of our projects. It's almost like we're building the fundamentals that Unity is missing.
Yeah, and they're really easy to use too. Especially the build one was amazingly simple. It's like 2 seconds. I didn't even realize a build was going when I signed up, and a build was going before I even realized what I was doing. And I got an email like, "Oh, your build's already done." Wow, that's awesome. So quick. So it's really nice. Really great tools, and everybody should try Proxima for sure.
For Build-A-Lon, if you're using GitHub, this is the tool for you. If you're hosting your code on GitHub and you're building Unity projects and you want any sort of automation, Build-A-Lon is designed for you.
Yeah, it is definitely great, super fast, and really easy. Amazingly easy to set up. I feel like it's the standard for what like a setup process should be like. You go in, you click, you select your thing, and it just magically works. It's great. So, all right, thanks again, man. I really appreciate you coming out and just sharing this with us, and again, more so building the tool, because it is amazing. And again, if you're watching, go check it out. Go grab the free version or use the code to go get 50% off, or grab it during the upcoming spring sale. All right, thanks again, and I guess we'll see y'all later.
Thanks, Jason.